Hello everyone. So far we have set up our Kaggle account and we have gone through the interface and everything. Before we jump in with the machine learning part, let's first go through another very useful tool, which is Notion, which would allow us to document all our findings and everything that we are going to do. So if you are interested in documenting your finding and making sure that you have a complete log of the projects you are working on, this is the video for you. Otherwise, if you want to directly jump into the coding part, I have added other videos which are solely based on classification, so you can move along and see those videos. So for people who want to document their findings and everything, I have opened up this Notion website. I'll add the link of this in the description below as well. So for example, if you do not already have an account, you simply need to go to this Get Notion Free button, or if you already have an account, you can simply click on the login button, right? So next, if you want to enter your own work email, you can go ahead and do that. What this does is this will connect you to the organization, and then you can work in teams and then add your findings and everything. So we are creating a personal Notion account. So for that, I'm simply going to click on continue with Google. Here I can see my account that I've just made for this channel. So I'm simply going to click on this continue button and it will lead me to another page. Okay, so now we have to complete the following steps. For example, if I want to track projects and everything, or for personal life or for school, depending upon which option you want to select, you can go on and do that. We are not working in team, we are working on our own. So I'm going to click on my own option. And then you can also fill this, tell us about yourself questions so that you can work along. So for example, I want to select educator. My role is, for example, okay, let's go ahead and select other maybe. And then my role is just Notion for myself. The size is 1 to 49. And then what are you planning to do on Notion? So I am planning to write document. I am planning to create knowledge database, write notes, build and find maybe content using AI. And then in the future, maybe I would like to build a website. So I'm going to click on this. So next, we need to select our workspace name. So I'm going to select code learn create. Maybe this is my channel's name, so let's go with it. Okay, it would take a few seconds or up to a minute to load and get everything ready for us. Once the time has passed, we can simply go ahead and click on this continue to free plan, because we do not want any paid benefits of it. So for example, if you want to access the paid options, in the paid version, you can simply go ahead and upload big files in it, and then there are also many other options that you can use. But for now, we can do with the free version that is available to us. So this is how the free version of Notion looks like. You can also install the app on your system if you're using Mac or maybe Windows, and then you can have a separate app of it which you can use in the future, right? So far we have created the Notion account, and now we are here. So simply next what you need to do is we need to create another page for the projects that we are going to make, and then we are going to keep log of all the projects that we have worked on or we will be working on. Okay, so now let's move on and look at the interface. So for example, on your left hand side, you can see that there are different options. So within this private space, you can create all the pages that you want, and these would not be visible to other people unless you make them public. In future, we'll also see how we can make our page public so that we can share it with other people for visualization. Or for example, if you are putting some project on your CV, you can create a documentation of it and add the link of the Notion web page on that CV so that the person or the recruiter can look at it. Other than that, if you look, we have different other options within the team spaces tab over here. So as you can see, if I click on the tasks option, I will get these already pre-made templates that are already made by Notion. So I can go along and add different details about what is the due date of my project. I can keep the log of it, and then there is an option of making a board. which would show you all the tasks that you need to do and all the tasks that you are currently doing and the tasks that are already been done. So this is a great way to keep track of the tasks you are working on, even if you are working in office or you're working on freelancing project or you are making projects for your own self. So this is a great way to keep track of all the work that you do. Next, if I click on this projects button, I can see that these are the different projects and this is the completion timeline and everything. So this is also a pre-made template. You will see this when you create your account as well. Other than that, there is this wiki option in which you can go on and read different things, and then you can set up a sort of a record of different meetings that you have with different people. And then there is also a documents option where you can upload different documents that you are working on. Okay, so next we can also make a Notion calendar. We can connect it, and then if we have any meeting or any task or any deadline, it would give us a notification that you have it. So I am not clicking on this option for now. In future, we'll see if we need this. Next, if you want to get templates of your own other than the templates that are already available. So for example, you can go along and click on this templates button, and here you can see all the pre-made templates that people have made and publish them publicly so that you can use them, right? So for example, I want a day tracker maybe or something like that, or a gym tracker or a finance tracker. So it would give me all the different templates that have been created by people, and I can go along and see there are a few templates that are paid and there are a few that are free to use. So you can go along and see what works for you and click on them and use them. For now, we are going to create our very own template, which would be customized for our own projects. So for that, we need to go back to this private option, and you can see this plus sign over here, right? This would add a different, an additional page over here. If I click on it, now you can see we have this page, right? And within this page, we can create different other pages. So for example, this is page, I name this as main page. Within this, if I click the plus button, it would create another page for me, right? So as you can see, we have a main page. Within that, we have this page one, and then we can go along and keep on creating different pages, and then we can add different things. So for example, if I want to make a document, simply I can press this slash button, and it would give me all the different options that are available. So for example, if I want to make a document, I can start with this headings option. If I want to add bulleted things, if I want to add a quote or divider or maybe a table of content or make a table or anything or insert an image, it would provide me with all the different options that are available, right? So for example, if I click heading, if I press like this, so for example, this is my heading 1. Next, I can go along and click on it again. This is my heading 3, right? If I want to insert a table, I can simply click like this and it would create a simple table for me. Again, if I press and type table and click on this table view, this would create a table that would look something like this, right? So I can go along and make it sort of a database that I can share with other people or keep track of projects on my own. So for example, if I'm naming this project 1, you can see that I have this another option over here. If I open this, this would create a separate page for this project for me, right? So this is basically a database in which I can make a separate page for each project and then add the details for each project in these tabs. Okay, I hope I'm making sense. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible because there are a lot of tutorials for how to use Notion and how to leverage all these options. I just want to go through this one time so that in future when we document our projects, you will find it easier somehow maybe. So going back, if I will look at the left hand side again, I have already created a page using the same way that I just showed you. So for example, if I click on this my Python projects, I can see that I have created this database like this. Within this database, I have these different options. So for example, the first option is to add the project's name. So for example, we are working on binary classification, right? Binary classification of specs images, maybe. Okay, so this is my project's name. Next, I'm going to select the type of supervised learning that I'm using. So for example, if I'm using classification, what kind of classification is it? Is it binary classification, multi-label classification, multi-class classification, or a segmentation problem? So for that, we can simply, what we can do is when we add a column, we can change the property of that column. So for example, I have named this column type, and then I can go along and click on this edit property button. Here I can see all the different options. So for example, the first option type, I'm going to select it, and now I can see all the different options that I have. So for example, if I have text to add, I can click on this button. If my input is only a numeric value, I'll click on this number option. If I want to give the user a chance to select only one option, so for example, showing him a drop down list, and from that he can select only one option, I can give the select button. And if I want to provide an option for myself in which I can select multiple options, I can select this multi select button. Next, if I want to add the status of my project, so for example, let's keep it till multi-select. I am going to select the type, this one, for this type column, and then if I click on, for example, here, I can see that I've already added a few options. So for example, my type is binary classification, but just to show you how you can add different other types, we can also for example, add a type which is instance segmentation, and then hit enter. This would add another option in our types column, right? So now you can see you have this option, but my problem is binary classification, so I'm going to click on it. Next, talking about the framework, you can either work with PyTorch or Keras, TensorFlow, or anything, right? So I have kept a column over here just to see what kind of framework I've used for a certain project. So it's the same property has been used over here as well. And here I have two options of either choosing PyTorch or TensorFlow. Let's keep it TensorFlow for now, right? Next, I want to also add the link of my GitHub repository of the specific project over here. So if I want to go back to it and I do not have time, so I can come to this database and simply click on this link over here, and it will take me to the specific project that I have worked on. So this is a great way to document things. So if I click on this column and edit property option again, and then the type option, I can see that I have these different options, and I want to add a clickable link. So for that, I'm selecting this URL option, right? Other than that, I can also select the date at which I have done this project, or I completed the project, or whatever, right? Or maybe you can set a due date for yourself or a deadline, so that you know how much time you have to complete a certain project. So for me, I'm going to set that my timeline is, for example, 6 December, right? So it would set it something like this. Next, I can also go along and keep on adding as much column as I want, depending upon what I want to add. So simply, I'm going to click on this plus option, and here I can see these different options, right? So if I want to just keep track of the status of my project, if I have started it or not, or in progress or something like that, I'm simply going to click on the status button. What this would do is it would automatically add a few columns over here. As you can see, you do not have to add these options, and then you can simply click on it, and then we have these three options, right? We can if we haven't started it, we can select the not started option. If we are currently working on it, then it would be this option, and then if it has already been done, it would be this option. So this is how we make a basic Notion database. I try to keep it as simple as possible because I wanted to make sure that we have a separate log of everything, of all the results and documentation and pre-processing techniques that we are applying. Other than that, there are other different options. So for example, if I click on this plus button, I have these different options. So if I want to create a sort of pie chart sort of a thing, so I can make only one chart for now, so which I have already created. That looks something like this. So this would provide you with the visualization of how many projects you have done based on these different categories, right? So for example, I have just added one project for binary classification, which is why I can see this one over here. Next, we have also set a sort of a deadline over here. So if I go to the timeline option, I can see that the deadline, I have started working on this project, and then if I work on other projects, it would show me the timeline of when I started working on different projects, right? So going back, this is how we set up a simple database for our Python projects. I try to keep it as simple as possible. In the next video, what we are going to do is we are going to train a simple binary classification model using malarial images on Kaggle, and then we'll train the model and everything. We'll do inference on the testing set, and then we'll also document all the steps that we have performed, the results we have achieved, and everything within the project's name page, which is this one, and then we can add all the details and all the output pictures and everything. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.